Stuart again with another top 5 video of our Infinity top 5 unit series. This is going to be the first sort of revised theme or format for the show. I'm going to be going through each sectorial, so it's really going to be the top 15. But with very large sectorials like this, it becomes sort of a bit too much of a hassle to try and cut through, what's better, because all these sectorials have been designed to incorporate similar units that fill similar roles, but with their faction-specific flavors. So really picking through the entire parent faction, my top fives would really just be splitting hairs and my own personal preference, and I'm trying to be slightly more objective with these than that. So just before we get started, fluff-wise, Ariadna is sort of the low-tech faction. They're the descendants of colonists launched by a sort of joint NASA, Russian space, and Eurospace Agency mission to colonize an exoplanet called Dawn. The planet, or the ship, was able to get to the planet through a wormhole, but as their sort of resupply ship that was going to have all of their mining equipment and a very large number of the initial colonists was going through the wormhole, it collapsed and actually destroyed the ship. So they only discovered this actually several months after they had landed the colonizing ship onto the surface of the planet, because it was basically designed as a module unit that could be deconstructed to build the settlements. And then their scanners picked up that the wormhole wasn't there anymore and nothing was coming through. So fast forward about 125 years and that wormhole reappears, and suddenly Oceania and Ching are coming through and saying, "Oh, geez, you guys found all these cool minerals on this planet. That's awesome!" And that actually begins what's known as the Neo-Colonial War. It's a very formative event in the Infinity Universe. So, as a faction, Ariadna has very distinct sectorials that represent the sort of major players from the sort of original power structure of Earth that we would recognize today. So there's Caledonian, which is the United Kingdom. There's Merovingian, which is France. And then there is USAriandna, which are the Americans. And soon we will be getting Rodinia, which is Russia. So with that in mind, I'm going to go into my first top 5 Caledonia units. So the first unit I'm going to pick are the Highlander Catarans. The Highlander Catarans are a really awesome, dedicated sniper unit. Their 2 loadouts both have long-range weapons, and for 21 points in a single SWC, you get a T2 sniper. T2 is sort of Ariadna's kind of special flavor. It is like a kind of the adamantium of the Infinity Universe. It's a very strong metal when it's alloyed with other minerals, but in its very impure state, it is prone to fracturing, and when bullets are made out of it, they tend to break apart quite viciously and cause a tremendous amount of internal damage. So they actually do 2 wounds for every failed arm roll in mechanical game terms. They're awesome. The downside for them is that they don't really have any specialist loadouts whatsoever, so you're not going to be achieving objectives with them. They have no armor BTS, which is kind of a downer, and the camouflage they have is limited camo, which basically means once they're revealed, they lose the camo for the rest of the game. They do have mimetism to make up for that, so you are going to have that -3, but it's just not enough to really make them stick. The next guy, number 4, is going to be William Wallace, which is this Aleph created construct. They've appropriated a bunch of historical DNA and created this abomination. A bunch of the factions got them. There's Saladin for the Haqqislam. Ariadna gets William Wallace, and Yuqing got Sun Tzu. Were sort of the gifts that they received. But the funny thing about William Wallace is that he basically hit his head, and it sort of damaged the neural implants, which Aleph was using to do clandestine covert spying. It eliminated those, so he's actually the cleanest of the constructs. He is an amazing LT option for Caledonia, and pretty much is always taken because of his inspiring leadership. It makes all of your irregular troops regular while he is alive, and he can perform a coordinated order with his lieutenant order as opposed to a command token, making him very good for that. So you can take a lot of units like the Galwegians and whatnot that are traditionally irregular and make them much more efficient with him on the table. The next number 3 pick that I have is Usia McNeil. She is a pretty much dedicated forward deploying camo unit who has access to a specialist loadout, so she's going to have a camouflage and the ability to infiltrate, which is going to get her right up next to objectives, and at 27 points for that specialist option, it is a fantastic buy. She does not have any armor, though, which is a bit of a downside for her. You'll find that a lot with my picks. I do emphasize survivability a lot, and only her non-specialist loadout has access to regular camo, meaning that the specialist loadout only has that limited camouflage, which is going to disappear after she sort of reveals herself. After that, we have the Wolvere Grenadier. So it's a no wound incapacitation, fire team core and Harris, or Harris loadout. Lots of access to that T2 ammo I mentioned earlier. It only has an availability of 4 though, which sucks. But those other qualities are able to get it to the number 2 spot. The number 1 option, though, is the Scots Guard. The Scots Guard are a core-link medium infantry unit. They have access to all the specialists you would expect, but they are quite expensive, and they're it can be a little hard to sort of muddle them into an army list. The next sectorial I'm going to look at are the Merovingians. These are the French. Their sectorials are Rapid Response Force, or the Force de Rapide Response. So the number 5 option for Merovingia is the Paracommandos. So they are only a parachutist, but they have mimetism, which is going to allow them to just pop off a section of board edge of your choosing. They're going to be able to evade fire fairly easily if you put them in the right spot, and they can bring their weapons to bear. The Loup Garou are the number 4 pick. These are a light infantry. They have viral loadouts. Viral is one of my big things, and all of them come with X-Visor, which basically is going to reduce all your negative range bands by 3. So your -6s are going to become -3s, -3, 0. Which, with the weird range bands on a viral combi, really will emphasize the impact of that. They are also expensive, though as a negative. The cheapest loaded is 18 points for a shotgun, which you're probably not going to be using the Libero for. The next number 3 pick is the Troop Metropolitain. I butchered that. So the Metro troops, they're sort of Merovingia's kind of one-up heavy infantry. They have access to lots of heavy weapons. They are fighting core light infantry. Their specialists are not very good, and their camo options are kind of shitty because they cannot be included in the fireteam core. The next pick I had were the 8M. So it's a MSD1 with lots of heavy weapon options for them. They're like a medium infantry, I believe, and they can really bring it to bear. So they're kind of my number 2 pick because they do fill that role of heavy weapon table control quite well for Merovingia. They are kind of light on the armor for their troop class at only armor 2. Then the best unit for Merovingia are the Moblots. These are non-hackable, heavy infantry with shock immunity. Hackability with Ariadna, because they have so little access to counter-hacking. Having hack-proof troops on the table is awesome. It allows you to just not have to worry about your HIs getting locked up, walking near a repeater or a hacking unit. But they are super expensive. You pay for it, but I think you get more than what you put in. Then our last top 5 is going to be USAriandna, which is a faction or sectorial I play personally. They are the newest sectorial that CB has put out. Sort of for Gen Con, it was kind of a bit of a surprise. They actually bumped Merovingia out of the Human Sphere N3 update book, but I mean, we got a fantastic sectorial here, so can't really be that mad. So coming in at number 5 is going to be the Hardcase Irregular. It is a super cheap infiltrating ambush camo unit. For 12 points, you get a shotgun. It's basically one of 2 camo tokens, which allows you a tactic called shell gaming, which is basically you have a bunch of camo markers, and the other one could be a mine, it could be anything. You don't know. And with that shotgun, you can do a tremendous amount of damage up to halfway up field with his infiltrate. But he has a very low pH physique, which is going to make moving past that half table mark very difficult. I've had that sort of figuring out how to balance the hard case. It's been quite difficult, but I still understand that it is a fantastic unit. Number 4 is going to be the Grunts. It's the sort of line infantry for USAriandna. They are armor 3, 4-2 move, which kind of sucks. They have access to forward observers and paramedics for their specialists, and lots of heavy weapons, HMGs, sniper rifles. So they are just fantastic for that. However, their low mobility does hurt them. That 4-2 movement can add up sort of during the mid game where you're just not able to move them out of a firing position, and then you find you just don't have the orders to get them up where they need to be. Now, flipping it around, the next number 3 pick is going to be the Mavericks. These are they're USAriandna's mounted troops. They are an impetuous, regular order-generating bike troop, but their light smoke grenade launcher on pretty much all loadouts really gives that impetuous order rather quite a bit of utility. You're able to move up 8 inches and fire your smoke grenade off, or either a smoke dodge, or just as the BS attack of the second part of that order, and get quite a bit of smoke on the table as the rest of your army moves up. They don't have any other specialists though, which kind of sucks. But you know, it is what it is. The next number 2 option, this might be a tad controversial, but I actually picked the Devil Dog. That is the sort of werewolf guy and his little antipod charge that he goes around the battlefield with. They're cheap. 30 points is going to get you the handler with a chain rifle. 39 will be the heavy shotgun loadout, but you're getting an armor 4 2 wound werewolf and his single wound armor 0 antipod that are moving together. He's got smoke grenades with a physique of 16. He's smoke dodging on 19s. They're just fantastic. When they get into close combat, they just destroy things. When they're both in combat, you've got damage 16 on an armor-piercing close combat weapon, and you're getting 2 hits. It's just brutal. And that brings me to my number 1 pick, which I don't think will be controversial, which is the 5th Minutemen Ohio unit, which is another unhackable heavy infantry, but it has Fireteam Core, which makes it just that much better. That you can get 5 of these guys moving without having to worry about being locked up. They've got great heavy weapon options. However, they are quite expensive for what you're getting, so chances of being able to swing a full 5-man link while having enough orders to actually use a 5-man link is quite low, but it is still totally an option for players to take. So that was my list of top 5 Ariadna units for all 3 of their sectorials. I hope it was helpful. If you disagreed with me or liked my picks, please leave a comment in the comment section below, because we just love to hear from you guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Game Nexus YouTube channel, please do that. If you want to, we really need you guys' support, and it's just awesome to know that people are enjoying our content. It really helps us keep going. So please do that if you want to, and I will see you next time.